Hello guys, welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we are going to be doing the top 5 fighters every season. Let's start off with season 1.
Miguel in season 1 is above Xander. The reason for this is because he 3-1s him. And yeah. Now for Robbie versus Hawk is that Robbie, after regaining his focus, he pretty much destroys Hawk then. And if they would have if they would have continued fighting, Robbie would pretty much just win because he's better than Hawk in season 1. Which means that which means that Miguel he's also better than Miguel because he pretty much destroys, not destroy him, but Miguel he pretty much clapped Miguel after regaining his focus, although he was even injured. But Miguel had to multiple times attack his injury to even gain a point. But it's a street fight. Roy being focused and being not injured, he pretty much would have clapped um, Miguel. So he's above, and Miguel was said to be above Hawk, so he's above all those three. And Sam was relative with Robbie in Sin 2 with a strong Robbie. And that was her first session, which means that she should extreme diff season 1 Robbie. And even if it's not, she's more skilled than Miguel, which because this is episode 6, she also said that he made a mistake when he was fighting Miguel. I mean Kyler, sorry, and that's why she should be above all of them. But it's could go either way between them. So the final scan is number 1 Sam, number 2 Robbie, number 3 Miguel, number 4 Hawk, and number 5 Sander.
Now let us move on to season 2. First of all, I'm going to be explaining who's the worst fighter, and that's without a doubt Tori. Because many people think, I will get to that in a second, that she's above Hawk, which is not true. First of all, the Sam she fought in the school fight is an unbalanced Sam because it was revealed to Robbie that she cheated on him, which made her unbalanced. And secondly, she was not prepared to fight anyone at all. So yeah, that means she was unbalanced, which is enough for Miyagi-Do. And the only reason why it looks like the relative is because first of all, Thor is cheating, as you can see in this picture, like fighting dirty and using a weapon, which made the gain the upper hand on Sam. And like I said, Sam was unbalanced, which means if Tori, even if she's enraged, if Tori were to fight a balanced Sam, she would without a doubt lose against her. And she was unrelative to an unbalanced Sam. And that's the only pawn she fights. So that means she has a worse scaling and thereby is a worse fighter in season 2. Now let us move on to why Hawk is above her. First of all, Hawk has scaling to balance them, and even though he was unable to land any successful attacks on her, he at least has scaling to a balanced Robbie. And he was able to land some attacks on Robbie, and he was even able to like tackle him and push him to a table. So he was able to put up a decent fight against balanced Robbie, and the reason why why this feat puts him above Tori is because balanced Robbie, meaning base balanced Robbie and base balanced Sam, were shown to be relative throughout the season. So that means if he is getting if he was able to put up a decent fight against Robbie, that also means that he would be able to defeat Thor without any problem. This is further proven in Crowley Creek when Miguel and Hawk are the only two fighters left, and it was implied that Hawk was able to defeat Tori, although it is unclear how he defeated her because we do see him off guarding Mitch. It is just safe to assume that he was able to defeat Tori, um, meaning in a fair fight. Now let us move on to Sam. Well, like I said, Sam and Robbie were balanced throughout the entire season in sparring sections. And we even see base Sam being slightly above Robbie, which is due to her superior skill and superior training. But they were pretty relative. and we already saw Sam defeating Hawk early in the season, and Hawk doesn't have any fees at the end of the season to prove that he would be above Sam. Well, yeah, like I said, Hawk doesn't have any fees to put him above Robbie or Sam. Now, the reason why Robbie is above Sam this season is because even though Sam is slightly above a base Robbie, Robbie is the only character who has skating to peak Miguel. And first of all, Robbie is already above Hawk because once Miguel got serious against Hawk, Hawk wasn't able to touch him or do anything against him, and Miguel pretty much destroyed him in a matter of seconds. While Miguel was striking against Robbie, and even before Robbie got in rage, which would be enough if you use Miyagi-Do, even when Robbie was balanced and trying to start the fight, Miguel was able to land several attacks on him and even like throw him around, which means that at the end of the day, Miguel would be above Robbie, but it would be extreme difficult, and Miguel's just slightly above Robbie. Which means the finest game for season 2 would be Miguel as the best fighter, followed very closely by Robbie. Then below them would be Sam, then Hawk, and Tori as the worst fighter. Now we have season 3.
We will start off with Robbie. Robbie improved in strength and durability. The reason for this is because he had a fight with Sean in the first time. This was season 2 Robbie, and Sean completely deleted him. Although yes, you could argue that after his goons came in, that's the only way how Sean was able to pretty much get the upper hand on Robbie. But it was stated by Robbie himself in season 4, episode 3, when Kenny came, that Sean has kicked us at multiple times, so you have to assume that it was a 1v1. So yeah, Sean is above. I mean, like, and in the second fight, Robbie is able to pretty much is more durable and physically stronger. The reason for this is because he was able to tank Sean's punches and scream from them like in the first fight. So he pretty much evolved. So he's better than season 2 Seth and better than season 2 Miguel. And yeah, but the problem with this is that although yes, he improved in strength, but he's not better than Hawk, nor is Tori better. Even though if you try to put both Robbie or Tori above Hawk because of Chris's statements, I'm just gonna give you my own opinion, because Chris doesn't is just full of crap. All I say, because in the first time he said Tori is above Robbie, and I mean like Hawk is the new champion. Then he goes to Tori, saying she's the new champion. Now he's saying to Hawk he's extra strength, meaning that Hawk is better than Robbie. But then he quite literally says that Robbie is better than Hawk and everyone else. But anyways, it does not care because Hawk pretty much we see a fight between Season 3 Hawk Season 3 Hawk Season 3 Robbie, because then it has him to use his Cobra Kai offense. I mean that is Season 3 Rob, not Eagle Fang, not approved offense. His Season 3 Cobra Kai offense, and Robbie tried to use the offense, and no, they did not combine their both sides. This is just Season 3 Hawk versus Season 3 Robbie. A lot of people do not understand that, and he pretty much destroys him. And Robbie in Season 3, lot of story Season 3. I mean that Robbie stays above Tori and Robbie. But Sam pretty much 2v1s Hawk, and no, don't use this game. I mean like in arcade fight 2v1s Duck and both Hawk, and yes, and she pretty much destroys in episode 8 Robbie. She was able to block his attacks, which makes sense because Robbie cannot, and she's better than Robbie because they were relative in season 2, and she improved because she trains, and there is montage in episode 8, so she's better than all those three. But now there is a statement where the writer said that Miguel is the best fighter in season 3, so Miguel should upscale from all of them. And the final verdict is number 1 is Miguel, number 2 is Sam, number 3 is Hawk, number 4 is Robbie and Sean, and then yeah, Tori and Duck. Anyways, so let's move on.
Now we've got season 4. So first of all, I will start off by comparing Sam and Tori, because they are worse than the other 3 fighters, which I will get into in a second. So first of all, we see at the start of the fight Sam only using Eaglefen in offense, and she scores a point on Tori. However, because Tori is more familiar with offense and has more offensive training than Sam, she was able to score 2 points back to back against an Eaglefang Sam. However, she goes back to Johnny and Danny and says how she should continue fighting, and they both tell to combine both styles and fight the way she wants to. And after combining both styles, Tori wasn't able to land any points. In fact, Sam landed 2 points back to back, even though the referee didn't count one of them. And Tori was only able to score 1 point, which was a winning point only because she scored 2 points on Sam, who wasn't combining both styles. So that means that Sam at her best would be better than peak Tori. And Tori even admits in season 5, at the end of season 5, that Sam was better than her. So Sam technically outperformed her and is about better. Yeah, you already saw it, but it doesn't matter. Now we get into the boys. So first of all, we start off with Robbie and Hawk. So a lot of people don't understand this, but Robbie was at his best against Hawk, and here's why. First of all, Robbie had two amps, which was an anger amp and a no mercy amp. And the second reason why he was at his best is because
Because he pretty much wanted to beat Hawk, just shown because he pretty much throws his hands on the mat when he do this, and that's why Hawk is above Robbie, Robbie's above Tori and Sam. The reason for this is because Terry Silver implied that he's the best in the dojo in episode 4, so I mean that he's above Tori, and Sam is relative to Tori, so he's above them, and Hawk beat Robbie. So now it all comes down to Miguel versus Hawk. And I just want to. There is something where people think that Hawk combines both styles. I mean, like, you could argue that, but I mean, like, with their logic, then Mental Nerf Miguel is above Peak Miguel. The reason for it, let me say why. Because in the Apartment 5 fight, Miguel was relative with Robbie, who had no M's. You see the problem with that? Like, with their logic, Peak Mental Nerf Miguel is above Peak because Mental Nerf Miguel should be way above Peak Robbie because he pretty much destroys Hawk, and Hawk destroys Robbie with his double amps, and now Peak Miguel is relative with no amps Robbie. So you see the problem with that. But anyways, we see the problem fight. Miguel beats Robbie and said there is there is no argument to put there's no evidence that Robbie beats Miguel with his M spot. Anyways, we do not see how the fight ends between Hawk and Miguel. We have just to assume that Hawk would have won that fight due to Miguel not being in the straight mind. So, anyways, Hawk is above Miguel, and yeah.
so the final scaling is Hawk is the best fighter, followed very closely by Miguel, then Robbie in third place, and then Sam and Toya below all three of them. Most controversial season in Cobra Kai ever. We have season 5. So first of all, this is going to be a quick section because we already discussed season 5 in our last video. But just very briefly, so the top two fighters are Miguel and Robbie because Johnny pretty much confirms this when he is talking to them. He says that the only reason why they even stand a chance at the Psychic Kai are because Miguel and Robbie are on the same team. And that statement already puts them above anyone else in the dojo. Secondly, they're both incredibly relative to each other, but they don't have many fights, and the only fight they have is against each other, and Miguel is the winner. So because of that reason, I'm going to put Miguel above Robbie, but they are close to each other. And the only other fight they have is the dojo fight where they have no problem defeating Kenny. So yeah, but because of the statement and because Robbie defeats Robbie, they're the top two, with Miguel being slightly better than Robbie. Now this gets very controversial, but the thing is, yeah, like I already proved they are the top 2 fighters in dojo. Now this guy's very controversial. In third place you have Hawk, and yeah, you could argue that he's below even Kenny or even Kyler because he struggles with Kyler. But we have to remember that Kyler also only lands one hit on him, and we also have to remember that he was taught how to counter Miyagi-Do, and there's actually no proof to suggest that Hawk was using either thing, because Miyagi-Do also has offensive moves like the crane kick or the pressure points, or even like the drum technique.
And anyways, Kyler in season 5 is better than Base Kenny, although yes, he had feats and stimulants to put him above, but they pretty much train, so Kyler pretty much surpasses the base version of Kenny because he performs better than Kenny with Miyagi-Do Hawk because he's able to slam Hawk's head, which Kenny wasn't able to do. So season 5 Kyler is above base Kenny, so he fought actually a strong opponent.
This is further proven with this scene here, right? Where Johnny basically confirms that Hawk, Miguel, and Robbie are on a similar level, and he says that all of them deserve to fight against the fighter that Cobra Kai picks.
And no, you cannot use that because of champion reputation. Yes, I understand that they are talking about this champion reputation, but they pretty much see them training. We see them sparring all the three on the same level. Meaning they are implied to be on the same level, not just only because Miguel was in the semifinals, so was Dimitri in the semifinals. Why didn't I put Dimitri there? Because he also was in the semifinals. They pretty much see them. They pretty much see that these three are on the same level. That's why Hawk is on the same level. As weird as it sounds. Now,
Now, like I already proved why, this is just to prove why Sam is above Toy, because Toy was striking a lot against Kim Dae-Yoon, and you cannot use the argument that Toy's hand was injured, because she still fights during the dojo fight, and Sam was able to block attacks on Kim Dae-Yoon and even escape a chokehold.
and stop using the stone breaking feat to put Tori above everyone else because Sam scales to Tori's stone.
Now we have the